At Blackfoot Communications, our mission is to connect people, businesses, and communities to their networks in Montana and beyond. Through Blackfoot sponsorships, local ambassadors, and public programs, we support initiatives such as the Emergency Broadband Benefit, fiber deployments, and community events. For information on our commitment to improving our communities with fast, reliable, and secure internet access, go to blackfootcommunications.com/news.
Awesome. Well, I think we already got everybody on here that we would normally have, and even a guest from up north. So we'll go ahead and get started if everybody is ready. Of course, Sam Houston coming off a 49-42 win over UIW in the second round of the FCS playoffs on Saturday. They will take on number 8 seed Montana State at 7:30 on ESPN Plus. That game is on Saturday night at Bauer Stadium. The winner to move on to the semifinals against the winner of Villanova and South Dakota State. Sam Houston comes in at 11-0 overall, and Montana State at 10-2 after a 26-7 win over UT Martin. We'll be joined today by running back Noah Smith, and then also defensive lineman Jahari Kaye, followed by head coach Casey Keeler. For those of you that are new, please use the hand raise function for any questions. And we'll do questions only for the student athletes. And when we get to Coach Keeler, we'll do an opening statement and then questions. So we'll get things going with Noah Smith today. And our first question is going to be from Mike Lucas.
Hey, Noah, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, boss. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Hey, Noah, you guys have obviously won 20-plus games in a row now. So to come into Saturday and it come down to literally the final play, was that kind of a wake-up call you think this team may have needed?
Definitely. I mean, every week's different, but I mean, we've been in a fire like that before. So I feel like we was prepared for it, because last year during the same run in the playoffs, every play has came down to the final series drive. Either we was on offense having to make a play or defense having to get a stop. But I mean, definitely was worried. Definitely don't want to lose. So I mean, it was pretty shaky, and the defense gonna shake back. We level them up at practice. They'll get back right.
All right, John Wilson.
Noah, what have you seen from Montana State challenges they may present you guys on Saturday?
Just their defense. They're pretty good all over around. They're big. They got big linebackers, big, tall. They got length. The defensive line, they're all athletic. They're big. They do a lot of twist games and try to blow up and take over the gaps. And the linebackers just sit behind it, and they do a lot of just filling holes and a lot of tricks with the D linemen. And their DBs, they're big. The safety's big. So they got a lot of big guys and some length on their team, on their defense.
Get a question from Culture. I'm probably going to butcher your name, Nuanez from Skyline Sports up in Montana.
Look at that, man. He nailed it. Very good. I'm proud of you. That was actually the first time it's ever gotten right the first try ever. Thanks for taking a minute for us, Noah. First of all, you talk about the winning streak. I mean, this year in college football has been crazy. There's no undefeated teams really at the Division I level besides Sam Houston. How have you guys been able to do this? How have you guys been able to put together more than 20 wins in a row?
Just honestly, this whole team. I mean, we all just got the same mindset, man. Like we all go out there, just practice every day. We all want to win. It's a hunger. I mean, our coaches, everybody around us, they just install winning, man. And honestly, we blessed. Honestly, I can say, because it's been games that have came down to the wire that we probably were supposed to lose, but I mean, it always worked out in our favor. And I guess that's just the urge to want to win. Like you can feel it. You can feel it on the sideline. You can feel it through the whole team, just the energy and that urge to want to win.
All right, next one. Let's go back over to Colton Foster.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You and Ramon have kind of been a two-headed monster in the backfield this year. Just what's it kind of like going into every game?
It's sweet. I mean, going into every game, I mean, we prepare really well. Our position coach, he's really well. He He breaks down the defense for us. He breaks down the film for us. So we go in prepared, definitely, and we just use our skill set. I mean, Ramon, he go out there before me, you guys know, and so I really piggyback off him. I ask him how they looking out there, or are they physical, or what to do, and he give me a little feedback on them, and I just go out there and just try to keep it going. No, I'm not trying to lack it off. So definitely that's my dog, man. We work hard and just keep balling.
Another question from Mike Lucas.
No, you talk about being in all these close playoff games going back to the spring. At this point, do you guys feel rattled in those moments, or is it pretty easy because you guys have been through the fire so many times to keep a composed head and not let the moment kind of get too big?
I wouldn't say too much of rattled. I say we're composed, but definitely it's a scary feeling because we haven't lost in a minute. So it's like, but I mean, I guess we composed and we all just let the game go how it go. And I mean, we have to be composed. We keep each other up on the sideline, even when it's defense time, when offense slacking and defense got only let up 13 points in the game, and we got to go get a winning drive. They keep us up, and just last week it was reversed. We keep them up, and I think that helps out a lot with, family. It's a family, so letting them know that we still there and we got them, and we make plays for them as well, so they can go out there with the next drive with confidence, knowing we just came off with a score. So I guess it all helps each other out.
Another one from John Wilson.
Noah, as players, do you guys feel a little bit more comfortable heading into this week? The intensity obviously rises in the playoffs, and now you have that first playoff game under your belt for this run.
I feel like everyone I feel like every game, each round gets more intense. It gets just that more, it gets more of intense, honestly, because that was war. We was at war last week. And I mean, each round, teams get better, obviously, and we all fighting to survive. We all fighting to not hang up our cleats, to not hang up the equipment. So I feel like each round gets more intense, but I mean, definitely you still have to keep your composure, but we all know what's on the line for it.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Our first question will come from Mike Luke.
Hey, Jahari, we talked after the game, and you talked about, being in these moments before, but do you feel like Saturday was a little bit of a wake-up call for this team that, hey, it's playoff time, we got to flip the switch and kind of kick it into gear?
Yeah, we play UIW in the spring, and looking over that game, we obviously won by a lot. The margin was large, and I think that game humbled us. I think we got a little ahead of ourselves, and we thought that it was another, conference game, obviously a previous conference game, and I think we got a little ahead of ourselves. I think it humbled us real quick that these are playoff games, and we're used to these playoff games, obviously, and we just need to lock in and go back and fix our mistakes.
John Wilson.
Jahari, what have you seen from Montana State's offense and maybe some of the challenges they'll present you guys on Saturday night?
They run the ball well. I think they have a good offense. I think they have a good plan. I think I just think they run the ball well, and they're gonna get after us, and they'll get in 12 personnel and try to run zone and power and all types of things to catch us off balance. So I think we're preparing well for it. So it'll be a nice challenge.
Colton Nuanez again.
Hey there. Thanks for taking a minute. In the run game, how much does the quarterback contribute, number 16? How much does that add to the challenge of slowing down Montana State's run game?
Number 16, he plays a tremendous part. They run a QB power. They run a QB zone. They have a zone with the jet coming across. So I think he plays a big part in the run game. They compared him to Taysom Hill in the Tennessee Martin game. So they obviously have high standards for him. So I think he'd be a big part in the run game.
Not sure how much you're aware of the situation, but that was his first start. So do you look at film from previously in the season as well to kind of get more of a full grip of what Montana State does offensively?
Yeah, I think Montana State obviously has they want to run the ball. We look at the first game against Wyoming, and they want to run the ball. I think that's their motto. So regardless with the quarterback in, I knew it was his first start. I think they're going to run the ball. They're going to do what they want to do, and running the ball is their motto. So
when I asked Noah this exact same thing, but this year in college football has been crazy. Every level of Division I, there's upsets every weekend. You guys have been unbeaten for more than I guess almost 2 years now. So how you guys been able to do it, and how do you handle the sort of the pressure and expectation that comes with being undefeated?
I don't really think there's any pressure. Every week of the spring, we're the underdogs. I think we play with a great chip on our shoulder. I don't think it's something that we go in the game and thinking we're scared. Coach Carlin, he always preaches no fear of failure. So I think that's what our motto is on defense: no fear of failure. And we go out there, we play hard, we swarm and compete. So.
All right, let's go over to Colton Foster.
Sam Houston's been known as a run-stopping defense amongst Montana State, so, run-first offense. Just do y'all feel there's any added pressure this week?
No, I don't think no pressure is. We played great teams previously. I think we have a great scheme on stopping a run. I think we'll be perfect. This is a perfect situation to fall back on our training and play great defense. So I think this would be a great week to capitalize on last week and show the country that Sam Houston defense could stop the run.
Back over to John Wilson.
Jahari, do you feel like the intensity rises with every round of the playoff as you guys advance?
Yes, I feel every game means something. It means much more, advancing to another round. I feel like every round is more intense. Every play counts, every snap counts, and you just need to live in that moment with us. So we preach, one snap at a time, one play at a time. Make sure everybody's fitting right. Make sure everybody's doing their job, and we just trust each other out there. So every time we advance and every game we play, I think the intensity goes up.
Got Coach Keeler with us. Coach, can you hear us?
Got you.
Awesome. Go ahead and just kind of get an opening statement, kind of a little quick recap maybe of last week, and then obviously Montana State, and we'll take questions.
We've won 5 playoff games this year by a play, and that's just the nature of the playoffs. And I think it speaks a lot to the resilience of our team, the character of our team, the fact we don't panic, and our resolve. So, great win. I think we saw a Power 5 quarterback out there. Was really impressed. When you watch him, you see he shrugs a lot of guys off of tackles, and you think that, well, your guys are a little bit bigger and more physical than some of the people they played. Well, he threw our guys off, and also can throw from every angle. I mean, it was pretty impressive watching him out there. Had some decisions to make at the end of the game. And we talked about the fact they might let us score. And I think that's why they called timeout, which I'm glad they did call timeout, because that wasted one of their timeouts. And we had never practiced it. And so I've done this long enough to know to try to improvise in a critical situation probably is not the best thing to do. Because all of a sudden your running back might say, okay, I'm just going to take a knee, and all of a sudden the ball gets slapped out. And then your offensive lineman might not block as well as they should be. And then all of a sudden they're not letting you score, and one of the guys goes through and it's a 7-yard loss. So it was not the time or place to improvise, and it's just like we have to go play defense. Try to keep a timeout in my hip pocket that whole time when they had the ball, because if it got to a 2-point play, I want to be able to use it then. And our kids were lined up for that 4th down play, and so I thought it was an advantage for us. We've trained our kids well enough to know they got to keep guys in bounds on the 2-minute drill, and we kept them in bounds twice, and that was critical because all of a sudden they're rushing to get that playoff. So it's as advertised, it's the playoffs, and it was a really good win, and I know our defense was disappointed with the points they gave up, and there's some things we needed to do a better job of, but in the playoffs it's win and survive. Win in advance, and we survived, and we won, and we advanced. So Montana State, what you expect, very physical, Head coach is an offensive line guy who has a North Dakota State background and Wyoming background. You know, they changed quarterbacks, which is, you know, kind of a gutsy move this late in the season. And there's a reason they did. I mean, this kid's a really outstanding athlete who really just adds a different demeanor and dimension to you know, how they play. Also, they play with an attitude. You know, they're a little bit like us. We play with an attitude. They play with an attitude. Defense is as good as we'll see. I don't know if we're going to see a better defensive team. You know, we haven't seen one better this year. I don't know if we're going to see one, you know, beyond this point. They're really good on defense. It's like watching a really well choreographed dance, where if they're supposed to be in the B gap, they're in the B gap. And if they're supposed to be fitting a run with the right shoulder, they're fitting it with the right shoulder. And it's really impressive. They do not make mistakes. They are always in position. Really good tacklers in the back end. Like the defensive line a lot. So again, you know, you got a physical team offensively that's going to try running the ball. They have a great wideout that they're going to try, you know, taking some shots with. And then, you know, they also play great on special teams. I mean, they play really hair on fire. It's not like you would say that they have a Jaquez, but they have just really good football players that play really hard all the time. So it's a really well-coached team that there's a reason why there's only a handful of teams left playing right now. And they're one of those handful of teams. So questions?
All right, we'll start with first question from Mike Luke.
Hey, Coach, we just talked to Jahari, and he said last week's game kind of humbled the team, seeing how close it was. Do you feel like moving forward that was kind of a wake-up call that, hey, the playoffs are here, we got to take our game to the next level?
Well, I thought the same thing happened with Monmouth. You know, you can talk to your blue in the face, which I do, about how every team you play at this point is capable of beating you. And we found that against Monmouth. I mean, Monmouth played us as tough as anybody. And it was the same thing this weekend. You know, I mean, I think our kids, because we played them a year before at their place and we handled them fairly easily. I don't think maybe we, you know, not that practice wasn't great, not that the kids weren't focused and locked in. I think they got a little surprised how much improved Incarnate Word was. And that's one of the things I tried to express to them. I said, this is not the same Incarnate Word team that we went up and beat pretty good at their place last year. This is an Incarnate Word team that has added some pieces to the puzzle. There is, you know, some wide receivers they've added, a couple of defensive linemen they've added, and they're really well coached. I mean, Eric's he's freaking awesome. I just think the world of him. And you know, I know where that program was, when he took it over. I know where it is right now, and I could tell after the game it was tough on him because he knew it was a moment in his life that was really important to him, and now he's moving on to Washington State. But yeah, I mean, our guys should not have been surprised that it was that kind of game because, you know, that's the playoffs.
John Wilson.
Coach, your players have talked about it. I was curious from a coaching standpoint, does the intensity for you rise as each round advances in the playoffs?
Yeah, you know, to me, this is pressure is getting here. I just love this. I mean, I don't feel the pressure of a ball game. We're in the playoffs. It's so freaking awesome, you know, and you're playing a great team and, you know, either you're going to win in advance or you're going to collect the equipment. And so, yeah, I love that sort of winner take all sort of deal. So I don't know. I mean, to me, Monmouth was the same as South Dakota State in my world. I don't know in their world, but in my world, it felt the same. So I know every game's a big game because I know the caliber. I just know sometimes how things get matched up. You might play a team in the first round that's capable of winning a national championship. Because typically when you get down to the numbers we're at, everyone can win a national championship. Everyone is in that position where they make a play or get a break. So another thing I talked to the team about, I apologize to them because I've done this a long time and I thought I got a little out of control with the officials. I think one of the things that just, you know, set me off was the fact that I generally never mention, you know, before a game about like, look for this. They've been holding number 2 all season. Every time Ife runs a seam route, they're grabbing him. Second play of the game, they almost tackle him, and the ball's thrown to him, and we don't get that call. And it kind of went that way all game long. And I apologized to the team. I said, I have to do a better job of that. I got really frustrated with the officiating, and you guys feed off me. So, I think got a little distracted with that. And I just got to make sure that I've done this long enough to know that I can't, get my own personal ego involved. I got to do what's best for the team, and getting after those referees at that level was not the best thing.
All right, I got a question from Colton Nuanez.
Hey, Coach. Greetings from up in Montana. Thanks for taking a minute.
Hey, absolutely.
First of all, this year in college football has been crazy. Like every level of college football, so many upsets across the board. So you guys are going on almost 2 years without a loss. How have you been able to do it?
Well, you have such a great team that has such great character. And then I don't know if you know our story, but, not only did we go through COVID, which was an interesting test, but also we went through a season without a locker room because our facility was being redone. And in fact, in our national championship rings, there's a silhouette of a player walking to practice with his helmet and shoulder pads because our kids, it's like Pee Wee football. We practice in the morning. I pull up in the morning. I see the whole team walking from the apartments, with their helmets and shoulder pads. Oh, and by the way, there's no laundry. They have to do their own laundry every day. So we wear the same stuff. 19, 20-year-old men, we're asking them to do the laundry every day. And we lost our offensive line and defensive line coach, 30 days before the start of the season. They got other jobs. Our offensive staff would meet in the press box where there's no meeting space. So they have to go to a hotel to watch video. And our defensive staff was 2.5 miles off campus in an old bank building. And we had an historic snowstorm here that wiped us out for 4 days. And our staff dug out the field over a 4-day period. We don't have plows here. We couldn't even find shovels. We had to go get feed shovels. No. So, I'm just giving you the highlights. So there's so many things that this team went through that it just brought us so close together. And we always talked about, obstacles are actually, opportunities, and so every obstacle we had, we just saw it as an opportunity. And so it's kind of funny when we're playing in the national championship game, we had the 5 lightning strikes, 5 lightning delays. And our players were actually in the locker room talking about how fitting is it for us to win a national championship this way, because it's just another obstacle. And they embrace that. So I think you have such a unique situation where you have everybody back on your 2 deep. Every single guy's back on that 2 deep. And, they went through so much that they just keep on fighting through. And I told them the day after we won the national championship in our team meeting, I said, this was really hard. The next one's going to be really hard. It's going to be even harder. And that's just the nature of trying to do something where you repeat. It's hard. And we use the word repeat up until the start of training camp. And after that, it was just about each game individually, But these guys are on a mission. They want to see if they can get a second one. It's we set a record for most wins in the history of college football for a single calendar year, which probably will never be broken. And that's pretty cool. And I think our kids are thriving off of every moment we have still playing.
I covered the Big Sky now for 16 years. So I've had Sam Houston on my radar for a while because it seems like there's always crossover with Big Sky teams. But when you first took this position, what did you like about the potential of the program, and have you and your staff been able to get this thing to the next level? Because it seemed like Sam Houston was always perennially playoff contenders, but now you guys are national championship caliber year in and year out.
Well, Willie Fritz did a great job here. I walked into a situation where Willie did a great job, and so I'm very blessed. And Willie's a friend, and he comes back for events. He was back this spring with a bunch of alums. It was really cool. And I'll tell you this, is that from where I sit in my office, if you drew a 3-hour radius around where I'm sitting, there's no better high school football in America. And, and I'm very good at communicating what this place is all about. And it's interesting. I got here 8 years ago. I just wanted to coach football again. I was out of football commentating, and, Bobby Williams gave me a chance to come back. And, I didn't realize, though, the transformation this university was taking. We went from 15,000 students to 22,000 students during that time frame. But we've put, I think, $1 billion over the last 15 years into this school. And so the brand is growing and growing. And so, yeah, it's a unique place. It really is. But in terms of where I'm located, in terms of, for a college football coach. The first phone call I got when I hopped off the plane, when I took the job, was from Dick Vermeil. And Coach Vermeil, who I was last cut twice with him by the Philadelphia Eagles. He said, "You are coaching like where every college coach wants to be. You're in Texas, where the best high school football in the nation is." And I found that out very quickly. And we don't even recruit outside the state of Texas. We will take a transfer or two from outside the state, but high school kids, we don't leave the state.
Amazing. Well, two more questions for me. First of all, you mentioned just the gap sound nature, discipline of Montana State's defense. Seems like the linchpins, although, are in the middle. Number 41, the D tackle, and then 15 and 47, the two linebackers. So what do you think of those guys?
Those linebackers are really good. I mean, 15 is did he play quarterback at one time, I read, or something?
So this is an amazing story. You'll love this. He was the Big Sky Freshman of the Year as a running back and an outside linebacker. Then he was a unanimous first-team All-League quarterback as a sophomore. Then he was a first-team All-American as a Sam linebacker, and now he's playing Mike.
Oh, man. He's a ball player now. I mean, he is a ball playing Jesse, I think, as Dan Lanning, my former defensive back coach, used to call. He's a ball playing Jesse, coach. Yeah, I mean, he just jumps out at you. But, you know, their whole defense they're just so sound. And so, like I said, it's like watching a choreographed, you know, musical operation and dance where they're just hitting every beat. And sometimes it's, as a former offensive coordinator, sometimes you like playing against those guys because you know where they're going to be. You know, I mean, they're not going to make mistakes. But at the same time, they got really good players. And so that's what makes it difficult is they have really good players. They play with an intensity and edge. Yeah, I mean, it should be a great matchup. It really should.
And last one for me then, speaking of versatile quarterbacks, now the kid under center, number 16, I mean, the ESPN guys were calling him, you know, the Taysom Hill of the FCS. He's a great runner. So what have you thought of him? And also, what's the challenge like, though, since there's 11 games of game film with another quarterback right, compared to just one for him?
Yeah, that's a great point. And first of all, I understand why they made the move. He brings a different attitude to them. I mean, now, I don't anticipate they're going to throw it 40 times. But if you watch the Patriots last night, you don't have to throw the football to win. I mean, they threw the ball 3 times. But, like, he brings an attitude. Also, you know, they'll hit you downhill on hit with him. They'll run the speed option, get him out on the flank. They'll pull it and he'll get out. I mean, you got to make sure that you have big enough bodies in there because he can run over you. He will absolutely run over you. And so, fortunately, our strength is, you know, stopping the run and our run defense. So I think it's going to be an interesting matchup, what they do offensively and what we do defensively. Yeah, I mean, I was just so impressed. I've got people like, "Are you getting the backup quarterback?" I said, "He's not the backup quarterback. Trust me." They were moving him to be the starter for a reason because they realize it brings a different dimension, a different attitude, a different mindset. And I think they're a bunch of tough guys. And you know, you practice every day in Montana. You grow up there. I mean, it's like there's a mentality that they want to create, and they definitely have it. I think they're going to be playing with a lot of confidence, and I don't think anything's going to intimidate them. And again, last year we had to beat the best 3 teams in the country 3 weekends in a row. We know that winning a national championship is really, really hard, and this is just part of the test.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, let's move back on over to Colton Foster.
You know, Coach, last week everybody kept talking about the energy at Bowers. Just what are you kind of hoping for this week, you know, with another big playoff game, a night game, you know, after graduation, kind of a big feel to it?
Yeah, you know, when I first got here, I heard so many stories about the Montana Sam Houston night game after graduation on a Saturday night. And, you know, that kind of was the gold standard in terms of just like the energy in that stadium. And then, you know, obviously what happened down Battle of Piney Woods, Bobby Williams said maybe that might have surpassed that by a little bit. So I know there's a potential. Montana State will travel well. They have a great, you know, program, great tradition. And I think you'll see, you know, a great crowd out there at Bowers and a lot of energy, just a lot of energy.
All right, we got a question from Mike Luke.
Coach, I just want to say thanks for going on social media this week and shutting down all the rumors about you going to LSU and Notre Dame. That was appreciated.
Well, the USC one was one that I think a lot of people were holding out. I'm like, okay, that's just no USC here. my son lives out in California. That was a tough one to turn down, but you know, I'm a Bearkat.
Well, going off those lines, I know this time of year you want to limit any distractions from the outside world, and stuff does float around on social media. And something we've seen the last couple of days involved Coach Cardi and possibly his ties to the Delaware opening. So how do you kind of handle situations like that and block out the outside noise to your team?
Well, those situations are really not even part of the equation. When a head coach leaves, it's something. I mean, because I'm the face of the program, and it's like all the guys that I hired are here. They're my guys. And so it's just different. I mean, I lost my old line coach and my D-line coach 30 days before the start of the season last year. So I don't think it's been a distraction whatsoever. And I know this. I know Ryan has been, in here putting in the crazy hours he typically does, locks himself in his office, and then he emerges every now and then. But no, has not been an issue whatsoever.